Okay, so if this activity has not been a little bit of a lesson in shock and awe yet, let's go ahead and get into the fuel and emissions and see what it means in by ways of gallons of gas, the cost of that gas, and the pounds of the emission that go into our atmosphere as a result of that commute. So what you're going to do is you're going to research three types of vehicles: a sedan, so maybe like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Camry or something like that; a truck or SUV, so maybe like an F-150 or a Honda Pilot or something like that, some type of SUV; and then finally like a hybrid, like a I'm blanking on hybrids, the Toyota Prius or something like that. Okay, so what you want to do is get on their websites, find their make and model, and add their estimated MPG. Maybe go with the freeway MPG. That's where most people spend their time, is on the freeway anyway. So for me, I'm only going to use my one vehicle as an example. So for this, we're going to assume that the maintenance of the car gets the same mileage indefinitely, even though it usually goes down a bit. And we're also going to assume that the cost of gas stays the same. And that is obviously not true. The cost of gas fluctuates constantly, but that's something that we can't necessarily get into unless we want to do some really complicated calculations. So we're just going to, for our purposes, pretend or assume that it's going to stay fixed, that the San Diego average right now is $3.56. I guarantee you it's only going to go up from there. It might drop a little bit, it might go up, but we're just going to leave it fixed, okay? So I'm going to use my truck as an example. So I drive a Nissan Frontier. I wish I drove a more fuel efficient vehicle, but for the things that I do in my personal life, I need a pickup truck to accomplish those things. So I average about 18 miles to the gallon when I drive. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and run some calculations here. So we're going to go equals sum, and we're going to divide. Scroll up here. So number of miles in a week, 189 miles per week, divided, which is the slash, 18 miles to the gallon. And that gets me 10 and a half gallons that I use on a weekly basis. What does that cost me? If everything stays fixed, let's go ahead and run that as well. So we'll go equals sum. So 10 and a half gallons per week multiplied by $3.56. So that's $37 a week. Those calculations stay the same, but just for shock value, let's go ahead and do a 30-year career. So equals sum. There we are. Let's come up here. How many miles do I drive? 284,000 miles. Divided by 18 miles to the gallon. So I use 15,000 gallons of gas driving to and from work. And once again, of course, it's absolutely going to fluctuate, but assuming that the cost of gas stays fixed, sum by $3.56. Over the course of my career, I will spend $56,000 just in paying for gas to get to and from work. So that, for a teacher, that's like, hey, that's an extra year, worth of work just to pay for gas to get to and from work. And then emissions, of course, we can do that as well. So the environmental, who are these people? The EIA, what does this stand for? U.S. Energy Information Administration. There we are. The EIA, they estimate that for every 1 gallon of fuel burned, gasoline, about 19 pounds of CO2 is emitted into the atmosphere. So let's do the math, pretty simple math. So equals sum 15,000 gallons of fuel multiplied by 19.6. So I'm personally responsible for, 309,000 pounds of CO2 going into the atmosphere as a result of my commute. All of these things, when you start doing the math on it, the idea of driving to and from work on a day-to-day basis for an entire career starts to sound a little absurd.